our pick this week was Children of Men by Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah.
Yeah, been on my list for a long time. I've seen like part of it when I was a long time ago, and I was like, I need to just get back to that and actually see what it is actually about. So it was nice to get back to it. What did you guys think of it? Just first off,
I had already seen like the last half of it because I just caught it on TV one time.
yeah, I'd seen the first half. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah,
I don't know. I liked it a lot, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty interesting story. I like a lot of the shots, and man, like
cinematography's
early on, I think it's probably like the end of the first act when like Julianne or whatever her name is, like when she ends up like getting killed. That scene just like takes like it's 0 to 100 like instant. Like oh my god, I don't know, it was fucking wild. But yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Me too. I enjoyed it. This like hit the same vein as like I don't know. I love dystopian settings, because they just like recontextualize so much for you. But yeah, it reminded me of like Snowpiercer and some of those V for Vendetta,
like, grimy and shit.
Yeah. It's like comes at that dystopian angle like from a realistic standpoint, which I appreciate because it was like I don't know, like you felt that world, like you're immersed in it. You kind of understand the geopolitics of it. Yeah, it's cool. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, like almost like 1984-esque too, like in a weird way, even though it's more like
Big Brother.
dystopian. Yeah.
like the birth premise is like the only like straight up sci-fi element or like kind of outside element, but I mean like specifically like the immigration shit in this movie is so like harshly depicted, and honestly like that shit's happening, and that's what's like hard to watch about it is like the brutality of that situation. I don't know. I mean, yeah, this movie worked its way on me. I think I mean I'll just spoil it, but I think I'm gonna give this one a 5-star review. Honestly, like
I almost did.
Yeah, like it just captures you, man. Yeah, I mean I was hinging, but I mean that opening scene sets the scene like in such a brutal way. One, it gives you a bunch of information on like the sci-fi element of it all, with like the celebrity death. I mean that's just such an easy way to kind of like get the mystery tease and like what's actually going on here. And then walks out of the shop. You like see all the faces of the people too, which is crazy. And then that shop is fucking just
just gone.
Yeah, his like knocking over of the coffee. I mean,
yeah, Bob Owen, man. I never really watched see much of him, and fuck,
this is like a perfect role for him.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He's got like the emptiness, kind of like this hidden sadness there. It's like right up his alley for it.
It sets it up perfectly. Yeah, all the I don't know. It's like built like factions. Like obviously it's like different nations,
fishes or whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, this is neat, dude, and like all the it depicted like so many aspects of modern life that like kind of modern life that we neglect. All the issues. It just like puts them out there for you. Yeah, this movie like has balls, man. Has some plums. It fucking I dug it, man.
Yeah, nice. I was curious what you guys thought, but obviously this sets like a huge precedent for like one shots, and also like handheld. More recently, even I've kind of just not really been liking handheld stuff in general. But this one I think is just like so tastefully done and like inherent to the situations that they've like presented. Like we can compare with 1917. This one stood out way more and it's way more dynamic. A lot of it is way more dynamic than 1917. But yeah, these were fucking incredible takes. So I was just curious it was immersive. It was insane to me. Like,
oh man, it's like I get that oneers. Usually it's like if you know oneers in a movie, it's like, oh fuck, like when's it coming? I'm ready. Like this is gonna be it's gonna be awesome. But this one just like when it's utilized right, like because sometimes I feel like oneers, it's like that like Extraction for instance, it's like yeah that was cool, but like I guess like it was a lot of shit going down, but like this one it's like I don't know, you feel the emotions. Yeah, you like you're going through emotions. You're going through the shit. Like, I don't know. I like that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I appreciate it for that because it actually has impact. So
Even the army stops. Like, yeah, that was one of I was like transfixed literally in like the second half of this movie. It was pretty crazy, and that's what won me over ultimately. Like, sometimes some movies I come out of it and I just have the reaction of God, I love movies, and this was one of them where it's just like it just seals some type of deal for you, and it just is so fucking impactful. But I heard the prestige quality of this, and I guess similar, like maybe to you, Alex, I was like, yeah, it's probably pretty good, but it was, I've seen Gravity and then Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban, which are the like he doesn't have that many movies Quran, but Gravity's good. It's not like it's a good movie, but like this one just blew the other movies out of the water. I like Harry Potter, the third one. That's a pretty good movie too, but
it's all right.
It's on another tier for sure.
Yeah, one of the scenes that hit me with him is like when they're they like make it to the safe house basically after she has the baby, and they're like, or no, she hasn't had the baby yet, but they're deciding whether she's gonna stay in that safe house and like have the kid there, or not. And I don't know, like his silence spoke volumes, where he's like he knows kind of like what the right decision is, like he doesn't feel right staying with this group or whatever.
Yeah,
ends up, instincts are right. But yeah, that was the intro to me where I was like, yeah, this guy's got something.
And he's a great pick as a character too, because they give you little bits as like how he used to have a kid and something happened. It seemed like so. Yeah, I also really liked early on to intro to his character where he goes and meets up with Michael Caine's character, which is a fucking great character in this movie. But it's like you're saying, like the cat, he's like petting the cat. They're just like smoking weed and they're like telling jokes. And I think that like sweetness there, like one, it opens you up to that character a lot. But it also just reveals kind of like the hidden like intricacies of life that like just the simple things of how you like get by and enjoy life. Like even in the grimmest world, like those are like I just like petting a cat, smoking weed, and like hearing a good joke. That was like a confluence of like great emotion there. I don't know, to like display what you just need to like do to get by. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The military character that kind of like comes in halfway has like a really bubbly personality and then kind of turns grim towards the end. He added like an injection of comedy there. Was his name Sid, or I thought he was like talking about he Sid? Talking to the third person? He's that crazy? Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. But I liked him. It's like you said, he added like another he upped the comedy just enough to like make you okay, and then obviously he has that when he gets like smacked by the battery, dude.
Holy fuck!
I was just like,
rough.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. Like
that was rough, man.
Man, I'm just glad this motherfucker found some shoes later, because holy shit,
just like cutting his feet. That was
yeah,
visceral. Yeah. Is he dead? I don't know. Is he? They do leave you open ended on this. I don't know. To me, it was like a really nice leaving off of like the mystery, but I could see how some people would take it as like not a definitive enough.
They need a sequel.
Yeah. The sequel's in your head though. That's what makes a good story, right? I guess like with Gone Girl, we were talking last week if it needed it, and I think like leaving it open forever is what the magic could be. So
yeah, those are some of my favorite movies.
How like terrifying would it be to like be Key though on that boat? Clive Owen just fucking dies. You've got your kid, and this boat might not show up.
Right? Jets are flying overhead.
Yeah, they just bomb the shit out of the fucking place you just came from. Like holy shit.
Yeah. I got a lot of like Last of Us inspiration too. I don't know if anybody's played The Last of Us, but I mean that's semi-apocalyptic future. Like with an emotionally shut down man who's transporting a like girl who's special to a safe zone.
Savior. But,
yeah, that's right. And the tone's very reminiscent of it with like the semi-destructive environment. But also just like with the camera work, this felt like a video game is like it's like a floating camera with like straightforward And even the story chunks, it felt like there were like little bits of dialogue chunks, and then you'd have like a crazy action sequence you got to run out of, and then you like kind of settle down and like get more story, and then it's like, and then with the free floating camera, it's almost like you're the controller, you know, like you're just constantly like looking around it was crazy. Like I was almost in a video game at a certain point too, which is kind of cool, but not like most movies.
And somehow video game movies end up being so shitty half the time.
You can't get that immersiveness for it, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you should just do one takes more. But I just wanted to note also the immersiveness is what makes this movie an insane experience. But I think also a really solid foundation of script is what makes this movie really good too. Just like little moments at the beginning, I just noted was like he's like someone's talking about you got a girl. Is it serious? And he's like very. And he just got kidnapped by her, and so it's like subtle moments like that, but also like the payoff of some building moments with like him dumping his booze on his hands right before he's gonna grab the baby. You know, that comes like it's like very subtle and tasteful, and like it made me think of like Godzilla versus Kong, which is like a moment they're trying to hinge the movie on, which is like get out of the machine, where that's just so like in your face and hammy and stupid. I don't know. It's just like that's a good script to me is when it's like there, but it's tasteful and not a direct like one to one with like what you're watching of like this is my wife's booze, you know, like I don't know.
No, this like one thing I noted early on, or like maybe like halfway through, was like this movie's ability for like I don't know if subliminal messaging is the best word for it, but it felt like that. You know, it felt like you were like getting everything you needed in the most subtle ways. And like I think like you said, Alex, like the ability to tone shift, like kind of almost on it, like when they're the same scene where he like hits the dude with the battery right before when she like hands the baby out the door and she like disappears for a second, like in my like that struck like such a chord of anxiety, like oh she just like took like that's the baby, right? Like she just and then she comes back and I'm like oh okay
I thought I thought that same thing, like holy fuck.
There are like moments like that, and then just other moments where it's like not like action heavy or not as intense, where it's like it just feeds the brain, just brain food. It's good.
Yeah, man, what a good movie. Shit, I'm gonna watch this one a lot for the rest of my life. I think it's just it moved too, man. I don't know what you guys felt, but it was very fast. So one of the best like world building too. Like you were saying, like Noah, it's just like everything kind of hits it right at the time that you need it, just information wise, a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even like just like location switches. You know, it's like they all did enough to be like, okay, I kind of like have an idea where we're at, or like you know, going from Britain to France. yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
like the escape from the safe house too was one of the best scenes too, where they're trying to get the car started. Oh my god, that shit's insane.
Yeah, like holy shit.
So good. And on that note too, Chiwetel Ejiofor, I hope I'm saying that right, but he was kind of like he's the head of the Fishes, I think that's the group, but he was kind of like on the up and up at this time, but this role, man, I think it's one of his best, and it's one of the most interesting characters in the movie too, his character. Yeah, because like so pragmatic and like can communicate like and then just pull the gun and shoot you, like it's I don't know. He was very dynamic as a character, and you feel for him even though he's like pushing things in the wrong way, which was like really solid. Well, 5 stars for me, Children of Men. I don't know what you guys got, but
yeah, I'm at 4.5 with this one, but same, like a couple more. It's the one I'll definitely rewatch, so give it time.
Right, yeah.
It'll get there.
Sometimes you just gotta get a couple watches in to really like seal the deal. That's kind of how I feel about Gone Girl right now, honestly. So, what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think I'll give it 5.
That's a 5 star.
I like it a lot. I don't know. Nice.
Yeah. It's the filmmaking too, man. There's like it's like I said, like 1917, they did like really good, cool long takes, but like their feature shot is like them running in the field with the main actor. And they have like 100 actors in like 6 different scenes in this movie. So it's like, it just blows it out of the water, honestly. Yeah. Choreography too. And like,
that's what I mean. It's like the best use of space and like knowledge of the frame, like knowing
Seriously.
like where people are at and where they're gonna end up in, like simple ones in the forest after Julianne Moore dies and he like walks away while they're still doing like their little seance and like yeah, I don't know, it's like
breakdown.
Yeah.
he's crying on the tree and but things are still moving and you're like with him emotionally. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's great filmmaking.
I was gonna say that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah,
They, like just took
yeah.
her off the bus, put that thing out. I thought you were just gonna hear a gunshot, but
I thought they were gonna kill her there, like
Yeah.
tag her head and
Yeah.
then just like do something crazy.
and then just gone for like the rest of the movie. You know, like she doesn't.
The
even meet up
characters
with
just
him,
come
like,
in and out as like they
Yeah,
would in
really
like a
good note.
situation like this.
Yeah.
The
Makes it
woman too,
feel-
like yeah,
Yeah, makes it feel like a fucking epic journey, like this arduous thing you're on with
through a war zone, yeah, like straight up.
yeah,
Yeah.
good shit.
Yeah, man. Great film.